Hello everyone, and welcome to another Invincible video. This time I got a video I like to think is a little more interesting than just ranking this time. As we know, Season 4 ended with all the Viltrumites going into hiding on Earth, to regrow their empire's numbers, but as we know with Nolan, that can lead to them developing new emotions and forming connections they were never allowed to have before. So today I want to figure out what is the fastest way every Viltrumite we've met so far could be converted. Basically, what would be their ideal scenario to develop as people? Now heads up everyone, this video will contain minor spoilers for the future of the show. I will however keep them to a bare minimum, as I don't want to spoil any of the big things that come from the Viltrumites living on Earth. Now without further ado, let's get into it with the ones we know Thrag sent to Earth. Lucan is someone we actually see go through quite the character arc, similar to Nolan's, though it is far faster, as the woman he decides to produce with at first had been in a bad relationship beforehand, and her partner cheated on her, making Lucan not want to inflict that harm on her too. Now, although love is what made Lucan fold here, the other part of it is that he had someone who put their trust in him. Lucan, especially in the show, is one of the most seen Viltrumites because he is literally at every fight during the war. Not to mention being trusted to handle Conquest, someone we know a lot of other Viltrumites are scared of. So if trust is the key to unlocking those feelings that lead him to changing as a person, the best way to do that is to put him into a position where a lot of people will put their trust in him. I'm guessing the first thought through a lot of people's head would be a cop, but there's a lot of fear there as well, and we want Lucan to change fast. So honestly, I think the best would be firefighter. When you're a firefighter, everyone you save puts their trust in you, and no one is really scared of a firefighter. When you see a truck go by, you think, someone's in trouble, I hope they get there first. Not to mention, firefighters usually get extremely close to their crew while on the job, so Lucan will still probably develop feelings of love for someone, just like in the original timeline, if not more familial than romantic. Time-wise, I see this taking about 10 months before his feelings start to shift and he no longer feels that insane sense of Viltrumite pride, and probably 1.5 to 2 years before he would consider other things in his life having priority over his Grand Regent's orders. With the prime example of Lucan out of the way, I wanted to bring up someone who is far harder to do this with, Anessa. Now I'm going to be very vague here because if anyone hasn't been spoiled about certain events that happened with her, I don't want them to know. Anessa was the Viltrumite who was least responsive to the new environment, seeing it as weak, and though she eventually did change, it took a very long time. Now we don't exactly know what made her change, nor do we have lots of clues like with Lucan, but the main thing seems to be acceptance. Her partner accepts all that she does and helps her move past it. So deadass, the best thing for her might just be therapy. Someone to talk to about all her grudges with the New World and why she feels like everyone is weak and pathetic compared to her race, though it will take a long time for her to heal that much. So my guess is 1 to 2 years of therapy with a really good therapist to get her to a point where she'd question orders a little maybe, and 5 years before she'd also stop putting the Empire first. Krieg is known to be the one who folded the fastest, and not gonna lie, yeah, that's pretty accurate to what he did. Krieg is old, like really old. It seems that what made him start to change was honestly just love, and hey, that's pretty fair. Going by that, honestly, the way to get him to fold fast is deadass to drop him in the middle of California, give him a phone with Tinder on it, and in about a year you could go up to him and ask who Thrag is, and he'd go, who? Thula is a character who is quite different than her counterpart in the comics so far. She appeared way earlier in the show, and seems to be far older. So I'll still use her characterization in the comics as a baseline, but I think she'll be a lot different when the arc starts up in the show. Now in the comics, she almost goes completely civilian after her time on Earth, and probably would have stayed if certain events hadn't transpired. What she wants is honestly just a normal life that's dull and predictable, away from the genocide and war she's used to. With her being far older in the show, this will probably be reinforced. So if we're going for normal, honestly, the best answer is probably Paul. This guy is said over and over to be the definition of normal, and is also just a great partner who will be there for you when it counts and help you get over what he can. So if she buys a house from Paul when she comes to Earth, hell, Paul might end up living in that house with her. I give it 8 to 10 months of a good healthy relationship before she prefers her new life to, the Frieza Force. Now that's all the Viltrumites that we know went on the mission to Earth. So from here on out, it will all be pure speculation about what will happen next going forward. Thrag is the most interesting case here because besides Omni-Man before he went to Earth, he's the most loyal character to the Viltrumite Empire. So he's going to have to be put through absolute perfect conditions for him to begin to change. Now, Thrag is someone who believes in devoting oneself to someone or something entirely. At first it was Emperor Argyle, then it was the Empire itself. He is also someone who values having a people, a team, a culture that runs in a system that demands respect and rewards for those who obey. Basically, what I'm saying is just get this man a job in fast food. Now, I know this might sound a little crazy, but just think for a second. Is being a manager at Burger Mart really that different? He'd have a purpose of maximizing revenue, a team of coworkers who need this job as badly as someone could possibly need a job, and if you really want him to fold fast, get him working at somewhere like Popeyes, because that's some food that makes you rethink your priorities in life. Now, it will take extremely long before he begins to even change. Much like Omni-Man, even with the best coworkers and getting manager position in less than a year, I give it 18 years before he gets to where Omni-Man was after 16. So a lot of changing to do still, but those feelings are there and he won't be able to make them go away.
So much effort. For what?
Conquest gets talked about a lot when it comes to how Viltrumites can change, and it's fair considering he expresses the most amount of emotion we've seen from Viltrumites besides someone like Nolan.
I am so lonely. All the other Viltrumites are scared of me.
He's also the most lonely. He has no close connections and no one to talk to, of course. And honestly, all those jokes about him folding extremely fast are probably true and were also kind of confirmed. If you drop him in a small town where everyone knows each other and makes small talk, he might actually fold within 2 to 3 months. He's just that desperate for any amount of care and attention.
Oh my God. I get it.
Grad is someone we know very little about, but we can still have fun, of course. I like to believe he's a very tired man. His facial hair and actual hair are very unkempt, and he was one of the 2 chosen to work with Conquest. I think if you were to get him on a fishing boat, push him out into the middle of a very quiet pond with 1 or 2 buddies, he'd be folding within a year or 2 of the quiet life. Elix is the last Viltrumite we have to cover, and we also know barely anything about her. She seems to be a Viltrumite who actually quite enjoys conflict, with her wanting to throw hands with literally everybody during the war. Sports would be a no-go due to her insane power, but restricted sports could be good. I can see her becoming a race car driver, so she can still have that thrill of a challenge, but her superior body won't give her that much of an advantage, since she's using the same types of cars as everyone else. Let's say 3 to 4 years and she'll prefer NASCAR to bloodshed. With that though, I want to thank all my memberships.
We are Coolest Armored Squadron!
Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.